Alright, so this is going to be a quick demonstration of how to use edgeware and generators in Substance Painter to create some pretty cool effects. So the first thing you need to know is if you have a curvature map or not. And if you've already baked a high poly from your low poly, then you've got a curvature map, and you'll know because you'll see it showing up over here and it's going to have stuff inside of it. So you'll see there's some detail in here. If you don't have one, you need to bake one. So you'll click Bake Textures here. And if you have a low poly, you're not going to need any of this stuff except for the high, except for the areas that don't have high on here. And really, all you need is a curvature, so you can just turn off everything but the curvature. And like I said, these ones that say high next to it require a high poly map in order to bake. So if you need world space, curvature, or position, you can use those without a high poly. If you're using just a low poly, you need to check this box here that says use low poly mesh as high poly mesh. And if you have a high poly, then you just select it here. Next thing is choose your output size and make sure you're on bake or match always. By mesh name won't work unless you have all your things, your high poly and low poly lined up, and if you don't have a high poly, it won't matter. So just use always. And anti-aliasing doesn't matter here either. Then just click bake. If you have multiple textures on here, it'll say bake all texture sets, or just bake this texture. Just you do bake all. There you go, now you've got yourself a curvature map. Next thing you want to do is go into your materials here, and I'm going to use two materials, one for the top layer material and one for the bottom layer. So for my bottom layer, I want to do a steel rough, and the top layer I want to do painted steel. But I'm going to put the painted steel on the bottom. I know that seems counterintuitive, but it'll make sense in a second. So on your steel rough, on your under layer, you want to right click and do a black mask, and then right click again and do add generator. Now you have to have a black mask to add this generator. I mean, well, you don't have to. If I go back and I add a generator onto something that's not a mask, and I add it on here, I'm gonna get a really funky result, and this is it. And it's not fun. It's not anything you want. So we're gonna go back and add that mask back on and add a generator. And we'll do MG metal edgeware. There's also dirt, which is cool. Dripping rust, which is kind of neat. And then fiber edgeware, which is cool for like burlap and stuff like that. So we'll do metal edge for now. And automatically you have a really cool, like very detailed looking, interesting edgeware pattern here that really kind of just makes this model pop a lot more. So you can go in and actually make tweaks to this. You can go and turn the wear level down, or you can turn the grunge amount up. So you can just go in and start playing with this kind of stuff to make it look however you want, and adjust things. Now, if you want to change what if you want to mask this off, for example, this is getting a lot of wear over here, and you might not want that. You might be thinking, though, the other weapons don't hit this a lot, so let's leave this alone. I want it to be painted still, or I want it to be something else. So if you want to mask that off, you can't do that anymore, and here it's kind of locked out. So the best way to do that is just to create a folder, grab both these layers, drop them into the folder, call this edgeware, wait for it to load, and then you just add a mask to the folder. And I'm going to add a white mask. And then I'm just going to block out using my polygon fill here. And I'll use object, and I'm just going to block that out. So now it doesn't have any edgeware on it, and I don't have to worry about it. Now, of course, I'm getting just white because I have nothing underneath this layer. If I close this, I have nothing underneath of it it's masking. So all you have to do is drag in another layer you want underneath, and there you go. You can also adjust this layer through the folder by painting on it, and that works just fine. Just keep in mind that you just remember what layers you have underneath of it, and it's just, you know, that classic Photoshop layering system. Whatever's on top is going to show up above the things underneath of it unless you've got it masked off. So try to keep everything masked, and just keep it nice and tidy, and it makes things a lot easier. So anyway, there's a really quick overview about how to use that for edgeware. You can do the same thing with dirt and rust and all kinds of stuff. It's pretty cool. It's really fast. So good luck.